Hi friends, it's Miss DiMaggio. I'm going to do your math chat with you today. It's okay if you're not in my class. I am doing this for all of kindergarten. So what we are going to do is you can either pull up the math chat one of two ways. The first way, you can have it printed and you can have a pencil and fill in your answers with your pencil. Or if you have it pulled up on a technology device, that will work as well too. Just make sure you have the math chat up and in front of you. I am going to go through each part of the math chat with you, and I'm going to be stopping or pausing to give you some think time or have you figure out the problem, and then we'll go over the answer together and we will move on from there and we'll talk about how we got it. So let's go ahead and start with math chat 1. So we're going to start over here with how many vertices in all. So vertices is a big word. Remember, vertices is the corner or the point of the shape. So let's go over here to the triangle and let's look. So this point right here, this corner, would be one vertice. This point or corner down here would be another vertice. And then this point or corner over here is the third vertice. So a triangle, friends, has 3 vertices. So our question asks us how many vertices in all. So I'm going to give you some think time to think about how can I figure out all of the vertices of all the shapes. So what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to count all of the vertices of each shape, and then we need to count on when we move on to the next shape. So counting on is, remember, the number we leave off at, we have to count up from there. So for example, if we left off at 3, like the triangle we talked about, the next shape we would have to start at 4 because 4 comes after 3. So let's go ahead though and start with this blue hexagon, and we're going to count all of the vertices and then we'll move on to our next shape. So let's go ahead and I want you to count with me. So start up here in this corner. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Moving on to the triangle and counting up. So we have to start at 7, 8, 9. Move on to the square. 10, 11, 12, 13. Circle. This looks strange. There are no points or no edges or corners. Remember, a circle just has a curved line. So there are no sides, no corners, no edges, nothing in a circle. It's just one line that goes around and around. So we cannot count the circle. There are no vertices. So let's move on to our final shape, the rectangle, and we left off at 13, so we're going to start with 14, 15, 16, 17. So our answer is how many vertices? 17 vertices. Say that with me. 17 vertices. Good job. So we need to fill in right here because it says blank vertices. So we need to fill this in. So in 17... it is a teen number, so I need what number to come first? I need a 1. And if the number is 17, what would be my second number? Good job, 7. So 17 vertices in all. Great job. Let's move over to this part, and it says find the answer by counting on. So we are going to do the same thing that we just did with the vertices, how we counted on after we moved to a new shape. So we need to put 11 in our head, and I want you to tell me what comes after 11. If you said 12, you are correct. So we need to then count the dots of the dice. So this is our first part. The dots on the dice are our second part, and we're looking for our hole. So we know we need to start at 11, and we need to count on by counting the dots. So this would be 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we have a 17 again. So we just talked about that. Remember, it's a teen number, so the 1 comes first. And 17, we need a 7. 1, 7 is 17. I'm going to go ahead and give you a second to try this one on your own. Remember, put 14 in your head and count up from there with the dice, with the dots on the dice. So go ahead and try that. So 14, Let's review what you got. So 14, I need to ask myself what comes after 14 since I'm counting on, and I know that's 15, 16, 17, 18. So 18, it's still a teen number, so my 1 comes first, and then I need an 8 for 18. Great job. All right, let's move down to here to let's count to 35 together. I want you to count out loud with me, and we need to make sure we stop at what number? 35. Good job. So when we get to 35, we're done. Let's go ahead and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. Good job. We just counted by ones to 35. All right, let's move over here, and this is called fact families. Unfortunately, we have not touched on subtraction yet, so I'm going to go ahead and cross that off because that is not a skill that we were able to introduce. So we are going to do the addition number sentences for our fact family. So what's missing in our number sentences? Both parts in our whole. So I know not everyone refers to the big number, the whole, as the big daddy, but if we're looking at the numbers here, we need to ask ourselves which number is the biggest. Is 3, 12, or 9 the big daddy? If you answered 12, you are correct because 12 is the biggest number out of 3, 12, and 9. So we know 12 is our whole then. So if 12's our whole, 3 and 9 are our what? Our parts. Great job. So we need to fill in our number sentence right here with this fact family. So a fact family tells us already that the two parts equal the whole. So I'm going to take my parts and my whole and make a number sentence. So I have 3 from my first part plus, remember our other part is 9, equals our whole, which is 12. Now, I refer to it as the reversal fact, so some of you may know what that is. So I want you to fill the other one in with the reversal fact. The reversal fact, for those of you that don't use that word, is the parts are just switched. So they switch from this position to this position. So go ahead and try and fill that out for our second number sentence. So if we're going to do the reversal, we have 3 plus 9 equals 12. Well, I can only switch my parts because my whole is going to stay the same. So if I switch my parts, instead I would have 9 plus 3 equals 12. So those are our two addition number sentences for our fact family. All right, let's go over here. This is another skill that we haven't formally introduced. It's greater than, less than, or equal to, but we have talked about which number is bigger or smaller. So this essentially is asking us which is bigger, which one's smaller, and then we have these signs. If you look, these little signs right here, and I like to refer to those as alligator mouths. Now, the alligator is hungry, and the alligator wants to eat the number that is bigger. It wants more food. So I am going to see, is 19 or 23 bigger? And why do I know that? So I'm going to give you some time to think. So 19 and 23. I know that 23 is bigger than 19. I know this because I counted in my head and I got to 19 before I got to 23. So that means 19 is smaller. So like I said, the alligator wants to open its mouth towards the bigger number. So I'm going to fill in the alligator mouth towards 23. because it's hungry and it wants more food. So this is telling us 19 is less than 23. Can you say that with me? 19 is less than 23. Which is also, in other words, means that 19 is smaller than 23. All right, let's move on over here. And it says, how many more? So there are already birds in our nest, and we need to figure out how many more birds do we need to get to 10. It says, I need blank more to make 10. So let's count how many birds we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to stick to that same skill of counting on to figure out how many more I need to get to 10. So I like to draw little dots to help me keep track of how many more I need till I get to 10. So there are 5 birds, so I'm gonna ask myself, after 5 comes 6, good job. So let's count. We have, 5, whoa, that went a little silly there. Can you give me a second? And I am going to erase what just happened there. Okay, so we have 5. Let's go ahead and count on. So we have 5, and I need 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to count the dots I made, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need 5 more birds to make 10. And in other words, 5 birds plus 5 equals 10. Okay, the last one is actually a subtraction problem, so I'm going to go ahead and talk you through this one. So I will read it to you first. It says, Jim has 10 flowers to plant in his garden. He already planted 2. How many more does he need to plant? So what Miss DiMaggio is going to do, I'm going to completely walk you through this one since we haven't done subtraction. I want you all to draw 10 dots on your screen. So 1, or on your paper. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 dots right there. So Jim has 10 flowers. So my 10 dots are my 10 flowers. He already planted 2. So 2 of them are already done. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a line through 2 of them because I don't need those 2 anymore. I don't need to worry about those. Those are already done. They are planted. Our question is asking us how many more does he need to plant? So if we crossed off 2, what do you think we can do to figure out how many more he needs to plant? I'll give you a second to think about that. If you said count the rest of the dots, your answer is correct. So I crossed off 2. I need to count how many dots I have left. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I know that Jim has 8 more plants that he needs to plant. So I'm just going to write 8 off to the side. So I'm going to read that question again. So Jim has 10 flowers. So those were our 10 dots. He already planted 2, so I crossed off 2 of them. How many more plants does he need, or how many more does he need to plant? So I had to count the rest of my dots that I had left, and that was where we got that number 8 from. So that was the end of our math chat. Thank you for doing the math chat with me today. I hope you enjoyed doing it with the teacher, and have a good rest of your day, friends. Bye.